Well, welcome to this episode of Inside the Journey. It's great to have your company, and it is also great to have the company of Mr. Damian King.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Mate, it is absolutely awesome to be chatting with you today. It's just great to get a bit of an insight of life. If you have been living under a rock and you don't know who Damian King is, 3-time world bodyboard champion. He's a business person, he's a family man, and mate, I've known you for a little while. I think it was maybe grade 5 or 6 since then.
Yeah, we were in the same class, weren't we, back at Heritage Christian School.
Mate, and just seeing what you've done and how far you've come is absolutely inspirational. So yeah, mate, just welcome to the episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Mate, tell us a little bit about Damian King growing up, the early years. What was life like for you growing up?
Yeah, it was pretty unusual. Wasn't a typical, I guess, Brady Bunch style lifestyle growing up. So I grew up pretty poor. I moved in 11 houses in 6 years, I remember. Right. So that's like once every 6 months you're packing your stuff up and moving again. I lived with my mum, single mum, brother, sister. And we kind of came up from Melbourne to Port Macquarie because my uncle lived up here, Damian King, who was a builder. So he built like Port Pacific and Village Resort and those kind of places. So he was in a wheelchair too doing that. Wow. And then meanwhile my dad was in Melbourne and he was like one of the richest people in Australia. So I'd literally go from being poor, we ended up moving in the commission house, 1 Mustard Street. So we got a commission house and that was like, yes, believe it or not. Wow. Which I've recently revisited and just went, wow, the bedrooms and that are like tiny.
How did that feel when you just went back to that home where you grew up as a kid? Like,
probably felt sad to be quite honest. Yeah, wow. Everything felt a bit bigger when I was a kid, but then when I kind of walked in, I took my wife and the kids too, because I was selling a house down the road, and I said, "Oh, do you mind if I come back?" And went into it, and I was just like, "Geez, wow, that was small." The kitchen and living area was like a little L-shaped kitchen that big, and the table that we squeezed in there, but back then it kind of felt normal and big, but then after kind of coming back and having a look at it, it was like, oh god, that bedroom was small, that kitchen's tiny, that living room's like it was the size of a demandable. The whole house, Wow. And that was great. When we got that, we were stoked. Because we didn't have to keep moving all the time.
So that was just with mum?
Yeah, that was with mum. But then meanwhile, I'd go down with my dad. And my dad was one of the biggest car dealers in Australia, biggest wholesale dealers. So he had a thing called Jups Motor Auction, and then he went into with TNT to a company called Auto Group. And we'd fly down there and he'd literally strip my Port Macquarie clothes off, and I'd have a tailor there making me Melbourne clothes. Wow. And then I'd live this lifestyle down there for a couple of weeks or however long we went down there, a week or whatever, where he'd be like, I remember him calling the army up just because he wanted to go and have a wine with a friend in Torquay, and they just landed at the Crown Casino. And then that was like 10 grand just for them big double, gun barrel army helicopter. And we'd be getting picked up in Porsches and Jags or going to his dealerships where he had like 5 or 6 golf buggies just to get around the dealerships are that big, and restaurants, and people would be, his last name was Jupp, so the people in the restaurants near him going, "Hey, Mr. Jupp," when I was like 10. And then I'd come back and fly back to port and then go back to that. And it was like
one extreme to the other.
Yeah, so I was always a basket case. And that's probably where a lot of this has always come from. Probably like, a bit of a case of the hard knocks a little bit, and kind of where I grew up and how, I don't know, a little bit about how we grew up, but then I got a taste of that as well, which kind of gave me crazy perspective on which side of the scale I was and which side of the scale, was just like mind-blowing.
When you were experiencing those extremes, like seeing dad in all the wealth and then coming back home to say mummy here, did you find a middle ground? Did you sort of...
Not really. I just kind of like... I didn't really like my dad's attitude, so I was kind of like... It made me never want to really be rich because I didn't want to be like that.
Yeah, right.
But I didn't want to be poor too because I realised... Because my mum used to be like, "Oh, money, we don't need money." But then I looked at it and I was like, money controls your life more than someone who has money. Because without money, you're living every moment around when you're going to get money. So like every second Thursday she'd get paid So I knew that was payday because we go to the Chinese and we go to the Sun Hing restaurant, and then I know on coming into the next Thursday it was going to be tough. Yeah. Then she'd get a little, like she'd go to the Salvation Army and get a food voucher and all this kind of stuff. And she couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, we couldn't do this. So I was like, I never want money to dictate me having a cruel life, kind of like what she had, or we had a little bit. Yeah. But I don't want it to make me turn into an asshole, kind of thing, like my dad. Yeah. And
what did you see? What did you see in Dad? Like, what was his?
I just saw him as, I don't really probably see eye to eye to a certain point with him, but like, I just saw him as kind of overly busy.
Yeah, sure.
Too distracted by his job. And not enough focus on his kids. He could have just thrown us a crumb, and it would have made the whole biggest difference to our life. So, and just the attitude of kind of looking down on people a little bit, and so I kind of saw a lot of that. So I was like, I've always been a good people studier. That's been one of my strengths. So it's kind of helped me in this job. So I can kind of suss people out pretty quick. And I used to watch him, and I watch my mum, and I'd be like, it's like two worlds. So then when I started competing, it kind of was like, because then I kind of grew up like that. And then by the time I was 16, Mum had moved to Melbourne. I was living by myself. Like I was jumping on the fences all around here to get food, like off the, like I was picking oranges up and all this type of stuff and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, like, and I knew where to go to get like, and that's why it's funny. I get people look at me now, kind of going like, as if like, I don't know, maybe it's jealousy, I don't know what it is, but like, I kind of think sometimes to myself, you wouldn't have lasted a second in my shoes growing up. And then that kind of like, I was like lifting latches in caravan parks and staying the night in a caravan, all this kind of stuff when I was like 16 years old. Wow. And then when I started competing in bodyboarding and stuff, I just remember thinking, no one's done it tougher than me and they're not going to beat me. Wow. I've just got this frame of mind. And then I was like, I'm never going to ask anyone for a sponsor either. I'm going to get that good, they're going to come to me.
So let me just ask, when did you first start bodyboarding?
Well, it would have been about probably year 6.
Okay.
So I just kind of like, I kind of went, I don't know if you remember, I went through like an Air Force pilot stage. I watched Top Gun and it was like, I'm going to be an Air Force pilot. So I wasn't the smartest kid in the class, but then I just started trying really hard. And then, and I started getting a lot better because I knew you had to be smart to be an Air Force pilot. But then I found a bodyboard and then I caught a wave accidentally and I got in a tube by getting stuck in a rip and ended up coming out of the tube somehow. Didn't know what I was doing. And found the board at Career Island. And then it was just like, that was it.
Wow.
I just had this massive addiction with the ocean and waves after that. And then just obsessed with it. So it was like, I used to go from dark till dark. So I'd like, Mum wouldn't want me to go down at dark. So I'd like set my alarm like 2 a.m, sneak into the living area so she couldn't hear me. I'd wear my wetsuit to sleep. Then I'd
Is that right?
Yeah, I'd wear my wetsuit just so I could.
It's all coming out today, guys.
Yeah, you guys are getting a good run today. Okay, chapter 1. And then I'd sneak out of the house. Because I figured Mum's bedroom was next to mine, so if she heard my alarm, then she'd wake up. So I'd do it at 2, and then I could kind of go, oh no, I'm just going to the toilet. And then I'd go and reset the alarm in the lounge room, and then I'd sleep in my wetsuit. I'd sneak out the door because I always wanted to be the first one out in the surf. So I'd go at dark, and then I was kind of like, if I'm the first out in the surf and I'm the last to leave of the day, I'll get better than anyone.
So what was it about being in the surf, all day, every day, sun up to sundown? What did that do for you? How did that, I guess, what did you get from that? Was it just that sense of being able to
Look, I think it was probably an escape a little bit.
A bit of an escape,
a little bit. And I just really loved waves. So I loved just, even if they were that big, just watching the tube and the offshore and the light coming through the wave and just watching, when the lit lands and watching how that affects inside the barrel and just everything about waves. I used to just love just how to come through and just pick up the shallow sand, or if we're on a reef break, how to come through and how it actually just somehow turn into a perfect wave that'd wrap around a reef break. And I was just loved waves. And then I went through the journey of learning to get better. So I'd okay, if I wanted to do a backflip, I had to kind of come out of that top of that pocket and perfectly in time it. And if I did a spinner in the air, I'd have to maybe pull a fast line, high line at the start, and then come down and learn to like jolt, like, whip it around and turn. And so I just went through all these like learning stages that kept me super excited about it the whole time. And then as soon as you think you got it, you learn it enough. You've got to learn something else, and you kind of like so you're constantly getting better and better. But you just focus. But if I always say if you've your passion fuels your actions, it'll get you to the goals. So if you're passionate about something, it'll fuel your actions.
Great.
And your actions will get you to the goals. If you're not passionate about it, it's a job and it's mundane, you'll just want to quit. If you're so passionate about something, which I was, you'll be doing actions that you don't even realise you're doing when you're doing them. And eventually you'll get better.
Amazing. It's great advice.
Yeah.
So when was it then that you decided, hey, this is something that could develop into something a little bit more serious, I guess, in terms of competing? And
yeah, look, I kind of knew I was getting a bit better, but I was still kind of nothing till I was probably, 15. I was a reserve for the team challenge here, and then it was big, and then I don't know, some reason someone didn't turn up, and they gave me the first run in the team challenge here, and I'll never forget it, but I kept winning the heats, and they kept calling me, because I was real small, they were calling me the giant killer.
Right.
And I kind of remember thinking at that time I was like, well, that was pretty cool, and everyone was kind of like, who was that young kid winning those heats? And then I went to Queensland, and there was a big contest when I was 18 called the Elite Body Bash, or 17 actually. And it was a big Queensland comp, and I won that in the juniors, and that was the first time I'd won like a proper Australian comp.
Right.
And then I was like, so I was kind of like getting there. I still hadn't been really sponsored. And then when I was 18, I went to Hawaii for the first time.
Wow.
And Hawaii's like kind of the big boys' mecca. Everyone from around the world, huge waves, like massive waves, powerful, like. One of my first sessions, I remember just going, I'm never surfing this ever again,
Just on that, so from 18, just going backwards for a second, so from 14 to 18, those 4 years, was your mindset the same, just achieving new moves, conquering waves in certain things, just challenging yourself? Was it the same that just kept motivating you through, even as you started to get...
it was just, I remember going into my sister's bedroom or my sister's boyfriend's bedroom once, and he had a photo of a bloke called Mike Stewart up on the wall. And he was surfing pipeline, big pipeline. And I remember seeing the photo and going like, I just want to be able to do that.
Wow.
And just going like, he wasn't doing much. He was just kind of like sitting underneath a 10-foot barrel that just had board shorts on. It was the middle of the day, and it was just had a beautiful look to it, and I was just like,
mesmerized.
That's the goal. That's the goal. So I kind of was like, I didn't even necessarily want to be a world champion or anything.
Wow.
I was just like, I just want to ride big pipeline or do, look like that on big waves.
Yeah. Amazing.
So I kind of had that, and then I was like, but I just enjoyed kind of getting better and better and better and better. So, but I was determined to, because of my upbringing. So I was like, I remember the first time I took on some good bodyboarders, and from Avalon. He was like the best in Australia at the time, and I was like 16, 17. And I just remember thinking, no one from Avalon's going to beat me.
And that's the mindset you've had, Damian. Just that knowing, that determination.
Yeah, it's determination. Amazing. And like even when I won my world titles, that only happened straight after my mum died, and I carried her ashes around the world, and I was just like, either I give up or win. Wow. So I just kind of went whack, and I talked to friends who would like chargers who live all over the world and stuff, and I do tell them, I say, I'm not like that normally. I said something kind of bad has to happen, or something that flips the switch, and then I kind of go, righto, now I'll go to the death. But typically they're built like that, and they can just go out and surf 10-foot waves over reefs in front of ledges, and it's just another day, another Tuesday for them. Whereas for me, I'd be like, whoa, hang on, let's take a step back. But if I got into a frame of mind, like Shark Island, for instance, I hadn't been invited for a couple of years, and it kind of like burned in me a bit. So when I went in that comp, I went in that comp to win it, and I was like, I'll teach you then.
And for those that don't know, like Damian recently competed in the Shark Island competition. How long ago was that? That was fairly recently, wasn't it?
Like 2 months ago.
Yeah, and how did you go? You came second?
I came second.
Amazing.
I invited 22 guys from around the world.
And
it was like, it was on.
Incredible.
So it was like, it was big and heavy, and I was with 3 locals in the final, and I didn't win it, but I brought something to the table.
Absolutely.
that was enough to show them that I should be in it. That was the main thing.
So when you talk about your competing and you talk about the mindset of I'm not going to get beaten, how do you maintain that level? How is it that you can maintain that level of intensity around wanting to win, having to win, that determination? Do you ever have days when you're about to go into competition and you're just not feeling it? You're like, ugh, you're having some self-doubt, or you're just not feeling up to it. How do you sort of work through that?
I don't know. And look, and I know that we're always trying to help others to feel it as well, but I just think for me, it was like my story made me, like the way I grew up, just made me like, just gave me that DNA of like, this is yours and you deserve it more than anyone because you've been through more than anyone.
Amazing.
Like there's no one on you. It was 16 living out of home, jumping over fences to fill a bag full of oranges with a shopping bag. So and that's why I laugh at people who, I think I feel like in a town like Port Macquarie I do get a lot of kind of, not jealousy, but just like,
opposition a little bit.
Well, just like, just people who kind of, I don't know. So, some Australians typically don't want you to go good, but they don't want you to go too good.
Bit of a tall poppy thing.
A little bit,
still going on.
And I kind of like, and I just do the double finger salute to that. Seriously, because I'm just like, hey, like I don't think anyone should ever be embarrassed about their success, especially if they've been through hell.
Absolutely.
And I think that we're shamed a little bit in Australia, or sometimes. And I'm just like, I've got another friend of mine who's a bit like that, and I said, no, fuck it, You embrace what you've done and you be proud of it. And so, and then when I kind of live those moments back of my growing up, I'm kind of like, because I've got other friends who are like dead or in jail, so I've dodged a couple of bullets to get through where I've gotten to, and I could have, it's not hard to skewer this way or kind of go that way.
Definitely.
So I think that the biggest thing that bodyboarding gave me was direction. And pulled me along a good path. And also probably let me release all that stuff.
Great.
So if I don't know, if there's anyone out there and they're struggling or whatever, pick something you love to do and focus on it and don't give up.
And I think with your background, I think there's two roads you can go down. You can go down the one of victimhood, where you can play the victim and really start to become victimized in your life, or you can really embrace life.
There's no
have
point.
That determination. And use that
don't ever play
project
victim.
You.
Don't ever play victim, even if you are one. Like just shake it off, toughen up and push through it. The people who play victim are just looking for sympathy. If you really want to play the victim, go and learn how to play the violin and do it properly. Seriously.
That's a hard instrument.
Seriously, like honestly, like I know we have moments where we get down and stuff, but like don't play on people playing the victim. Like don't be stronger than that.
Maybe don't live by your feelings. Like oftentimes our feelings are kind of
well, just like I think people like they live off the sympathy. Sometimes they're like, oh, this is feeling good. Everyone's like feeling sorry for me. Like I can just keep, this narrative going and getting handouts or getting sympathy calls and like forget that. Like
so hard.
Like I know it's a harsh reality and it kind of does feel good, but like look yourself in the eye and kind of go, well, if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to live my life, like when my mum died, for instance, I watched her struggle for life and then die, and the doctors kept going like, all she wants to do is live. So I was like, if she wants to live that much, and I've got life, then either I do something or I stop. So I was like, that's the way you kind of got to look at it sometimes. We're lucky to even have life,
Just on that, Damien, like you were obviously motivated because of growing up. How did that also increase motivation? Did that just add another level, another fuel to that level of determination?
So I kind of, I guess my growing up brought me to a certain level, which was like probably international recognition, but not world champion level. So it kind of like got me to a certain level, which elevated me above a fair few, like, a lot of people. But I wasn't at like, at the level of taking down natural born killers like Glemmy Tomega from Brazil. So I was not like at that, like, whoa, I can actually look you in the eye and take you out at Pipeline,
Let's talk about your first world championship. What was that like?
Well, that's how it all happened. So basically it was the first year they started a big wave contest tour, and then my mum died in March, and I remember just going through that moment where I was like, I got to, you know, I watched her die, and I was like, I slept on the hospital floors and all that kind of stuff.
Was that here in?
No, I was in Melbourne. It's in
okay.
Melbourne, and I just remember walking out the car park after I watched her die and going like, all right, you've always been kind of good at bodyboarding, but you've never challenged a world championship or anything like that. And the waves have never been, it's like Tahiti, Shark Island, Pipeline. Yep. They've never been in big waves before. So I was, basically just I remember walking in the car park and just sat down by myself at the gutter. There was a red car, blue car, white car, and I was like, either you give up or you win. So then I came back to Port, and from March, I trained from like dark till dark. So every single hour of the day I'd do something. So I would drink 60 mils of water, 600 mils of water every hour, because that's all your body could consume. I'd be having liquid carbs. I didn't like swimming, so I'd go spearfishing. I didn't like going to a gym, so I'd go rock climbing with a fishing rod. I didn't like running, so I'd take a ball into the oval and just kick the ball around. If I was buggered, I'd get a massage. So I just kind of I read this book called, I think it was called like Healthy Achieving or something like that. And basically was enjoying your journey getting to your goal. So using alternate training to like...
That's really interesting, enjoying the journey getting to your goal.
And that's the most important thing.
That's really important.
Yeah, that is the most important thing. And I was having the chat with my daughter the other day, and kind of, she's on that path now too of, I just said, just try and enjoy your journey a bit, you know, because you can get tied up in this too much and get too focused, and you look back and you kind of go, yeah, well, I've done A, B, and C, but God, that was miserable. So you got to somehow try to do it. But that's what I did after my mum died. Then I carried her ashes around all around the world, and like I was like, I'll need these one time. And then the first contest I went in was 12-foot Tahiti, and I ended up winning the comp and beating them all. And I was just like, wow. And I got a poster and a front cover, and I was pulling the waves with one hand up in the air and just like laughing at it.
I mean, where we're at on the mid-north coast of New South Wales, there's no such thing as 12-foot waves. I mean, where are you training for that size wave?
You never can really train. Like, I used to go there for like, so many different little things that lead into it. But like, I first heard about Tahiti 3 years before it was anyone really knew about it. And I'd lost a sponsor, and I just caught a plane by myself. I rang the magazine up where I'd seen this little photo of this wave. And I rang a magazine up and I said, where's that wave? And they said, it's a place called Chopu in Tahiti. So then I got on a plane, flew over to Tahiti by myself, didn't know anything, just a backpack and had my bodyboard, walked straight out the front of the airport and hitchhiked, and just went, I'm just going to ask someone where Chopu is.
Wow.
And then it was funny, and then these bodyboarders kind of recognised me, picked me up out the front of the airport. Their uncle lived out at Chopu, took me out at Chopu. Chopu's like, you don't even have a road, you walk across a bridge in the middle of a valley.
Wow.
And then I met his uncle, and his uncle goes, you teach me how to talk English and you can stay with me.
Wow.
So I give him English lessons, and then I learnt to like surf Chopu before anyone was surfing it.
Awesome.
And I surfed it like big and everything. So I kind of had this like relationship with Chopu a little bit before anyone knew about it.
Okay.
And then when I knew the first comp was at Chopu, I was like, I want to win that.
Amazing.
And then that in combination with what happened with my mum, just kind of fueled the perfect storm, really. And then, like I remember riding on my mum on my board, first place equals mum, didn't show anyone, and take go out in the boats, and I'd have a photo of her. I'd jump off the boats and just go boff. And then I won, and I was like, wow, can't believe I actually just won that.
What was that like? What was the emotions? It
was probably the first time I grieved after that properly.
Right?
Yeah, because I just kind of came back from the funeral and just went straight into training. And then like I remember we had the after party, and a good friend of mine who I used to travel with, we went out the end of the jetty, and I just bawled my eyes out for like an hour.
Wow.
I was like, wow. And then took our ashes around the world.
And after you did that, after that grieving, did you feel just a sense of peace and clarity moving forward?
I felt like I'd just like let a bit out. There was still plenty of steam in there. But I just kind of like let the valve off a little bit.
A little bit of decompression.
But that wasn't the goal, was to win Tahiti. So my goal was to win a world title. So it was like, but that gave me the confidence to go, wow, when you have ultimate determination, you can actually win. Because I had ultimate determination, which was like and I could look those guys in the eye and go, I'm going to beat you today. And like, without that stuff happening, I couldn't have pretended, but I couldn't have won. Like, I wanted them to be on their game. I wanted them to be the best they possibly could have been. And I was like, please, I hope you've been training for this, because the more you want it, the more I want to take it off you. And that was the frame of mind I had.
Wow.
Because I was like, well, I just watched my mum die, so I'm just like, Just it's a bit like growing up in the housing commission area, but on a different level. It was like the pain I'd been through to get to there, to walk into Tahiti. Like, I was taken off on waves and everyone's scared, not pulling in with one hand in the air, like going like this, wanting to die, Nelly. Like, it was almost like that.
Incredible.
And then I basically just fast forward. I did the comps, and I had to win pipeline, and Tamega, who was a 6-time world champion, had to get last. And Mike Stewart, who was a 10-time world champion, wanted me to beat Tamega so much because they hated each other. So he told me to go out pipeline all the time. He said, go out there all day. He goes, you'll feel like you'll own it. That's because I said, how do you win pipe? Because he's won it 10 times. He goes, just spend every second you can out of pipeline. I was like, right. So then on the final, I still had to make 4 heats, but on the final day, I carried these ashes around everywhere. And then on the final day, I was just like, boom, just dumped the whole lot of them at pipeline.
Wow.
And just went, today's the day.
Wow.
And then, just a big call. Wow. Like, I could have just got knocked out in the next heat.
It's huge.
And I've just gone right up near the lifeguard towers, and I was going, all right, let's go.
There's no other option.
Nah. Well, I'd done that was like nearly 9 months later.
Wow.
And I was just like, that's the ultimate sacrifice. And I was just like, so I've just dumped them all on the beach, and then I was just like, you got no choice to win but now. Wow. And it just took me to another level of determination. And before they were going out in their heats, I used to just look at them and I'd be crying because I was just so like zoned in on just like winning.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting first and he got fourth, which was like exactly how it was meant to go. And I came up and I remember after it, I was just thinking like, because I'd always planned for that, but it's one thing to plan it, it's one thing for it to actually then happen, especially from me being a no one to then winning. And I just remember like I had to sit down because I was like, I went up to where I sprinkled mum's ashes, and then after that I was like, did that really just happen? It was like one of those cheesy Hollywood movies. Like I was like literally one of those cheesy Hollywood movies.
What's going through your mind? You had such a level of determination. It sounds like it was almost you had made a decision. I cannot do anything else except win. When you do win, is it a surprise?
It's still a surprise. It's still like at that level it is. Like now if I won, like it's still like, but you know the next year when I won again the next year because I was just thinking, was that a fluke?
Amazing.
So like,
and similar mindset?
Yeah, but more of a similar mindset, but more of like, did I just fluke that? So I don't want to prove to myself now that wasn't a fluke.
Wow.
So before that was for my mum, and the second year was more for me, just to say, did you just snag that somehow?
Amazing.
So let's just see if you can do it again.
Wow.
So then kind of like it was a different motivation, but it was more, the second one was about me.
A bit more about yourself.
Yeah. So the first one was more about my mum, the second one was more about me.
Incredible.
And then the second one I only won in the last 10 seconds.
Is that right?
And I had to get a perfect 10 and I got it. And the guy the Tamega guy who I beat, he must have gone through heaps of mental stuff after I beat him.
Yep.
And he was already celebrating up on the cliffs at Maui. And he saw my last wave and I walked up the rocks and he just looked at me and his like eyes were like a deer in a headlight and he goes, "You're so lucky." He goes, I said, "No, I'm not." And then he goes, "My therapist told me I had to shake your hand if you won."
Wow.
Yeah. That's the level he's at. This guy had a coach. He kicked off the World Cup soccer, Tamega. Like you go to Brazil in the early 2000s, late 90s, Tamega was huge. Like they wrote plays about him. Like, they used to go to nightclubs and like everyone was just like, so this guy was a god. Like,
amazing.
He was up there, like kicked off the World Cup for Brazil.
Amazing.
So like,
wow.
He was he's a big deal. Like bodyboarding isn't as big in Australia as it is, well back then, but over in Brazil in those countries, it was massive. It was the second biggest thing to soccer.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's huge. So I was taking on like their god. You know?
Incredible. How much, just in these last sort of moments we have, Damien, but how much pressure is there when you get you know, when you have deals with brands and other companies and bodyboard companies, which you've had endorsements, etc. Is there some pressure around that as well to perform for those brands?
Yeah, for sure. So it's always good when you're doing well, but it's when you're not doing well. You can see them with the knife sharpener than a knife up. Right. And then it adds even more pressure. Okay. So it's like, yeah, it's not a very pleasant thing. It's
a different pressure, right?
It's just like, it's a pretty crappy pressure, and that's why, you know, and that's most of the time that's the pressure you've normally got. Is like, you're always kind of, you know, before it's all well and good when you're world champion, everyone loves you.
Sure.
But when you're battling, getting up, and you're fighting for sponsorships and you're negotiating contracts, or you're battling to try and maintain contacts as you're coming down the other side of the hill, it's like, it's very unsecure. You know, you're always worried about what you're going to do, what you're going to do for a job, like how long is this going to last for, are they going to re-sign me, like where's the next photo shoot to try and elevate myself so I can it's like, it is a constant battle, and it's not very enjoyable, so it's like, but you just got to kind of take steps away from it sometimes too and give yourself, I think, always give yourself perspective. No matter how good or bad your life is. Always give yourself perspective. Like, you might think you're going through a tough time. Go over to Bali and see how they live over there. See how the kids are. Go and walk through. Imagine walking through like Palestine or any of those war-torn countries right now. Like, you think you're worried because you live here and like you got nothing to worry about. So it's like when you kind of, and I remember when I used to travel, that was one of the best things about traveling, is it gave me perspective about, even though I was young and living in the housing commission house, that was still incredible compared to what these guys were doing. I did some work in South Africa and some work in the prisons as well. It's just horrific, the conditions. Areas of Philippines, you know, after some natural disasters, cyclones have gone through and helped rebuild their homes and stuff. Horrific stuff. And I think it can do. I think it's whenever you think about you've got it bad and you think someone's got a lot worse than me, 100%. Even people who are just sitting in cancer and they're going to die, like right today, this will be a lot of people's last day of their whole life today. Today. It's great. And like, so stop whinging and get on with it. You know.
So fast forward to now, how do you? I mean, what you've done in your sporting life, bodyboarding, world champion. How does that sort of play out in life as well, in areas of business and property and family?
Yeah, look, it's just probably given me a thick skin. And like, we just had a couple of properties that have taken a long time to get over the line, but we never gave up on them. And so I guess it's just, again, in your DNA. Even in real estate, in a tough market, and even in a great market, you're still fighting for listings and you're still getting beaten around a bit. So it's just like, I think that tenacity is a good thing to have no matter what field you're in.
Someone who might be listening today that are maybe just struggling to get some direction, maybe trying to just find some hope in their life, what advice would you give someone like that? They might be starting their journey in sports, or an area of a new area of career or something like that. They're just feeling really uncertain. They actually probably maybe don't have the confidence that they need.
Look, and sometimes I'm like, when I'm training and stuff, and when I get back into training when I was training for Shark On, I hate it and it's so miserable and so unmotivating. I can't stand it. Like, I'm not one of them guys who get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and jump out and go, let's go and do the park run. I'm the opposite. I'm like, I want to sleep and relax. So I've learnt to take baby steps to start to get my momentum.
Good.
So when I drive past the pool, for instance, and this is probably relative to other people, just start tiny. Start tiny, like, you know, go for a walk. Don't even do that. Like, I used to drive past the pool and I was like,
think about going for a swim.
I'm just going to like go in, just put myself into the water and then just get back out again and go and then get back in the car. And then guess what? I got it in the pool, and then I was like, I'll do one lap. I'm not doing any more than one lap. I do one lap and I go, do two. Might as well do two. Before you know it, you do probably 10, 15. And if I don't feel like doing any more, I'm not gonna. But then when I go back again, I'll go back with no expectations. Expectations is what kills most people. Is they think they've got to go here, and they just go too much. But they've got, like, if you just kind of go, well, let's just start small and gain momentum. The goal's down there, but just like inch by inch. Like, something's better than nothing. And even I talk to my wife about it sometimes too. She's like, "Oh, I couldn't be bothered." I said, "Just do something. If you're not making it, you're losing it. So just do a little bit, even if it's like tiny bit.
What about like comparing yourself to other people? Because sometimes, that's what we do as well. Sometimes we compare ourselves to someone else's journey. You might look at someone and say, oh, they're going much better than I am and I should be in a better place. Do you reckon
don't worry about that. Like at the end of the day, even the people who are successful aren't that successful. No. Even if I get a new car, it's not that great. Like look at like Elon Musk, look at like Donald Trump, look at Max Verstappen, look at like the guys like we meet people in our job who think they're pretty high hat, pretty good, and I'm just thinking, even compared to my dad, I was like, dude, you were poor compared to that, and my dad's poor compared to them. So you think you're poor, you're rich compared to them.
You sort of got to run your own journey, don't you?
So, 100%. So you just do your own thing. Do what makes you happy, because I can tell you, like we've been around since the dinosaurs, and our life's like that, and their life's like the whole existence is like that. Yeah. So like no one really cares about your life that much. Yeah. So just do what makes you happy. Yeah.
Damien, it has been an absolute honour to just chat with you in these moments. It's
been a while. We were in year 5 together.
It's been a little while. Yeah, it's been a little while, man. And it's and just seeing the information that came up recently about you competing in Shark Island and how well you did, and I was just struck and thinking, yeah, man, he's done really well, and you have done really well.
And getting out of your comfort zone. That's another big point. Getting out of your comfort zone. Like I didn't feel like doing that. It's a lot easier not to do it. Don't have to do it. I'm not trying to get a sponsorship out of it. But I think sometimes when you're getting out of your comfort zone, that's why I still try and push myself into big waves and stuff now. It scares the hell out of me. I get more scared than anyone.
See, that's really interesting though, you saying that, because most people outside looking in would say, well, he, multiple world champion,
petrified,
got it together,
petrified. Don't sleep the night before.
Wow.
Don't sleep the night before.
That's encouraging actually. For
it's like petrified. Yeah. And because I'm not built like that typically, unless something really bad happens. But you
don't let those emotions take over, right?
I never let fear stop me. Yeah. So and I say to my kids, don't let. I said, what do we do about scared? She goes, push it to the side and keep going.
Great.
So never let fear or scared, because it'll dictate your life. And a lot of people will just watch their whole life be totally, like they won't be able to get to where they could have got because of that stupid fear, scared thing. And it's the biggest load of crap that it's good because it makes you alert and kind of won't make you not put your hand on a hot plate. But it also stops people living their life. So getting out of your comfort zone is great. Like your body goes into survival mechanisms, and it gives you there've been studies on how it increases your life expectations, gives you get special stuff that makes you look younger because your body starts releasing everything. So staying in your comfort zone for too long isn't healthy either. So scare yourself, do something you don't want to do, and it'll make you appreciate your time afterwards too. So I remember after I'd have those sessions, I'd kind of be I'd be so scared in them. But when I came in, I'd go to the bakery and I'd get a pie and a milk or whatever. I'd be just it'd be a feeling that I hadn't had for a long time. Safety, contentment, just appreciation of life. But it was because I pushed myself into that petrified zone that made me appreciate that bakery session. Would never have felt like that had I just been another one.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Just quickly, what do you do to relax now?
I just I love watching just Netflix and things, just taking my mind off it. I've got a Formula 1 simulator at home, nice. Racing simulator.
Cool.
I just try to switch off if I can a little bit. Watch a series. No, we don't really have a lot of relaxed times. Have a couple of beers. Just wind down. I shouldn't say this, but play the pokies, but only put $50 in. But
do you ever just go out for a bodyboard just for the fun of it?
Oh, I do that all the time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Cool. No, I still go out there when it's that big.
Yeah, nice.
And just put my head under the water.
Yeah, beautiful.
And that then sometimes I don't on Sunday it was so cold and I didn't want to. I kind of was comfy at home, but I was just walk down the hill. Just catch 2 waves. And walk up the hill again.
Beautiful.
And wasn't going out there to win a world title. I wasn't even going out there to do a move. I just wanted to get the ocean over the top of my head, and I was that'll be half an hour. It'll just be nice.
Beautiful. Perfect. Hey, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it, King.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
What a legend. Guys, thanks for watching. There's been some great advice come through today as well, so it's been awesome. And we'll see you next time on Inside the Journey. Bye.
Woo!